Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Forever Stranded Lost Souls with the Cobblenauts. How are you guys doing? Nemsun is over there breaking blocks. He can use a compressed hammer, which is something that I am very jealous of right now because as you guys may have noticed if you are following the rest of the guys in this group, experience is a serious bottleneck on this pack, and slowly but surely we are building up our skills. Some of the guys have gone mining, but I figure it would probably be best to take a different approach to gathering experience because there's not going to be a huge amount for all of us to mine in this area. There's like 7 or 8, maybe 9, possibly even 10 people in this pack right now. On this server, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people trying to get experience, and a lot of people doing the same thing is probably going to lead to some people losing out. So I've taken a different approach. I have gone the sieving and material production method, which is good, to be honest, because I wanted some iron to work with anyway. Everybody else is doing so much work in this pack. It's crazy. We have a Tinker's Construct smeltery somewhere. It keeps moving around, which is why I'm not showing you guys it right now, but it will probably be through there or over here or something. There is a resonator now, which is incredible. People have automatic crafters, mechanical builders. There is so much going on. I myself have not done a huge amount except for to add the millstones into this windmill setup. And Ector pointed out that you could add a lever to the block up there or one of these blocks to basically turn off the entire thing. So despite the fact that the windmill is still making its usual creaking noise, it is not that noisy until you turn this thing on. And then when you do turn this thing on, you find yourself having to shout over all the millstones and the saw. But yeah, I've been grinding up some more hemp fiber just in case we wanted to change the windmill up at some point, but it does seem to be working. So for the most part, I've been leaving that. Now, a lot of people pointed out in the last episode that there are a ton of uncollected quests, basically, and so that's a pretty good way of showing you guys exactly where we're at in terms of the progression. So let me walk you guys through that now. In terms of survival, we've done pretty much everything, so I'm going to claim some of the rewards here. So yeah, basically the only stuff left to do in survival, obviously we're not going to enable hardcore because that would really be quite the trip and we'd probably end up dying pretty quickly. The next thing to do is changing the nether spawn point, apparently, which is something we could do if we create one of these obelisks, which shouldn't be too difficult, but I don't think we really need to change the nether spawn point right now. And then the portal home, which is going to be a heck of a thing to create. We've got to make a lot of stuff, and I said early on that it was possible to make a vanilla nether portal very easily with the stuff that we had now, but apparently vanilla nether portals are disabled in this pack, which is why it's okay for us to have a village generated by a compressed chance cube. Pretty much in terms of the survival progression, we are done with this quest line. Now there's a bit more stuff happening in the compression stuff over here. Auto hammers, auto sieve, stuff like that we are still working on because a lot of the time it makes sense just to sieve stuff manually. Now this I'm very excited about. We have custom named chicken sticks in this pack and mine is named Cluck Rogers. I can't use it yet because I need to up my mining skill, but another level under the belt and we should be able to get that done pretty great. So the pack has been updated recently and a couple of the levels and stuff have been tweaked. This was Jancy's discovery, where he discovered that you can create cooked apples, which give you not just 4 haunches of hunger replenished, but 64 saturation. So we've all basically been eating those until they get nerfed, is the idea. So we've got a couple more loot chests to open, some fluxed electrum bend, whatever on earth that is, and some energy laser relays. I almost thought that was an auto-gathering thing, because I think it's, what are they called? The vacuum hopper stuff. Item collectors. I think it's item collectors. Yeah, these. It looked like one of those for a second, because it's from a similar-looking mod, so I got quite excited about that. But yeah, we could probably make one of those. It wouldn't be too much of a problem, and I'm considering doing something like that for over here, because if we do stuff with these millstones, then they just spit out items all the time, and it's kind of nice to have those items be automatically collected instead of having to stand around by them, but that's another task for another time. Last of all, we got these compressed iron hammers, which other people have made, and I don't think I'll be able to use these yet because I can't even use a regular compressed stone hammer at this point. Let's tuck the chance cubes away in here. Won't be using any of those right now. Some more med kits, very cool. And some absorption hoppers. There we go. Fantastic. All I need to do is up my building level to 8 and I'll be able to use that. So I didn't even have to go through the trouble of crafting one of those. And just a little bit of grind later, I've got myself to the point where I can up my building skill to level 8, which means we can go outside, place a chest over here by these millstones, and finally put down an absorption hopper so we don't need to worry about anything else. Let's see if that will go into there. I hope it will. Let's try it with these items. Boom. They're not in the chest. Now, how do we transfer from this? Oh, yeah, of course, we need to configure it. Let's go down for items. Bam, there it is. Okay, cool. So that should hopefully now be transferring anything that comes out of these millstones into here. And it does have a bit of a range on it, so hopefully we don't have to worry too much about people dropping their items in the area, but hopefully they'll notice that this chest is here and then they can pick up the stuff however they want. So having started down the path of better with mods with the construction of this windmill, I figured it was probably a good idea to continue taking a look at the quest lines in the better with mods section of the quest book, and most of them have to do with milling stuff. So for the most part we can get these done today. I think there's a way of upgrading axles for the windmill, although I'm not entirely sure why. They don't seem to have been under a great deal of stress so far, but I have a feeling that these things, if you attach too many other devices to them, they start to get some wear and tear and they break. So we could always upgrade those if we need to, or maybe it upgrades the speed of the machines if you have a different gearbox and stuff. So we can look into that a little bit today. But the first thing we need to do is grind down some materials. Now, if you look at this, the grind blocks task basically just needs you to grind down some netherrack and some clay blocks into, or maybe that's grinding dirt into clay. I imagine it probably is, because that's how you get clay in this pack. So let's just grab a couple of bits from here. I don't know how much clay we're going to get from each block of dirt. Let's take a quick look and see if we can find that out. There we go. Oh wait, no, that's a different recipe. How do we get to the... I guess we get to the millstone stuff here. Okay, so it's 1 for 1, right? So I'll need a little bit more dirt, but that shouldn't be too difficult to come by. In fact, if I put down a spruce tree out here, am I able to turn this into wood chip? Because that's something you can do in... Yes, okay, cool. That's something you can do in Sky Factory, so I figured that would probably be the case too. Now let's see if anybody has left a handy barrel around that we can use to render this down into compost. Doesn't look like there's one around, so we're going to have to make one of our own. That's no problem. I'm pretty sure the recipe is just this. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Let's actually make a couple of those if we can, because we'll need to render down a little bit more of this. What have I got there? Oh, some spores. Well, we're well past the point of eating spores at this point, so I think I can probably just chuck that out. Now, wood chips can go in here. We can make some dirt out of... Wait, no. We can't make dirt out of this. What's happening? That's weird. We should be able to compost this. Is there any other requirement for composting? I didn't think there was. Let's try it with saplings and see if there's anything... No, see, we can compost that, so why not wood chip? Why is it not letting us do that? Luckily, I didn't turn like an entire tree into wood chippings because I can't use them now. Alright, folks, we've got a little bit of dirt. Time to get going with this, and it's time for you guys to hear the horrible, horrible noises that these things make when they grind up netherrack. And so I'm sorry about that in advance, but you guys are in for a treat right here. I'll try and... Okay, Valen's just logging in and out to make sure the pack is updated for him. Here we go, folks. I will probably turn this down in post, but just so you know... Well, that was an ordeal, but we've got the stuff. Now, is it going to let us complete the quest that way? Oh, yes, it is. Okay, good. I was worried that just having it collected by the absorption hopper was going to mean that for whatever reason it wasn't going to update the quest, but we've done it. Fantastic. We can claim that quest, and now we have to work on some other stuff. Now, the dyes are probably going to be fairly straightforward, although I think I need to up my farming skill before I can even use bone meal around here. Now, let's take a quick look at what we can make with this ground netherrack. So I haven't actually looked into this. You can make a soul urn if you put it through a filtered hopper, and that seems to be it, but it gets you hellfire dust as well, and hellfire dust is probably used for something kind of crazy. Nether sludge? What the heck is this? There's like nether sludge blocks, which I guess you can turn into nether bricks, because crafting nether bricks out of netherrack doesn't work in this pack. Interesting. Good to know. What about nether... Can you convert nether sludge blocks directly into nether brick? No, apparently not. They just have to be put in a kiln. And a kiln is something else we're going to be looking into today, because I have absolutely no idea how that bit's meant to work. One other thing I forgot to mention earlier is that we also have a turntable set up over here. And I'll quickly show you guys how that works, because that ties in with what I'm talking about with the kiln stuff. So let's grab a block of clay. People have been making clay over here, so I don't feel too bad about stealing a bit for a second. And if you have the mill running, it'll also activate this turntable, and then it starts chipping stuff off of this. And then if you break it when it's in its next kind of form, it turns into this unfired crucible. And if you leave it on the turntable for any longer, it basically becomes a different type of item. So each time it goes through a stage, a clay ball is going to drop off this thing. So it starts off as an unfired crucible, but it will keep going and become an unfired planter. So I'm going to break one of those just to see what we can do with that. I assume it's something that you can use to grow crops, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, if we put another clay block on top of this, after an unfired planter, it becomes something completely different. It becomes an unfired vase, and I've no idea what that's for either. Another stage beyond that, it becomes an unfired urn, and then eventually it just disintegrates down into nothing, and we get ourselves our clay back. So it's like using a potter's wheel, and I still have no idea what this does on the side. Maybe that speeds it up or something like that, but essentially, yeah, you're using a potter's wheel to turn clay into various things, and those can't be fired in a regular furnace. They have to be fired in a kiln. So part of today's video is going to be figuring out what on earth we need to do with that. Getting hold of dye was a simple matter of throwing in leaves and flowers to be ground up by the millstones. Thankfully, none of them make ghast noises, the way Netherrack does. There we go, folks. We've got all our dyes, and hopefully that quest should complete. There we go. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so we can claim our rewards from that. Our meager loot chest rewards. Let's see what we've got in this one. Oh my word. Okay. I'll take it. An iron battle axe and a diamond pickaxe, which we can't use yet, but oh boy, we're going to at some point. So the next thing I want to do is take a look at these filtered hoppers. Now, those require wooden gears, some siding, and some corners, along with a wooden pressure plate, which I've already made. And the siding is very easy to do now that we have a saw, and even gears and stuff are pretty easy to do, because all you need to do for one of those is saw down one of these until it becomes a corner, and then you saw the corner one more time and it becomes a wooden gear. So you can actually produce wooden gears very easily once you have one of these things set up. And I don't think this needs to be connected to the windmill at all, but I could be wrong about that, so I'm prepared to at least give it a try. Let's take a look at what the quest book has to say about these things. This hopper will give different items that are thrown into it. You'll need to place a filter in there beforehand, like soul sand. Oh, brilliant, and we get some experience for this, just what I wanted. Right, so let's see if we can add some soul sand into this, and that can be used to filter the ground netherrack into this hellfire dust. So I'm going to drop it on top of the axle where the turntable was, and you can kind of see underneath there how I've got this all set up. You just have to create an interlinked system of gearboxes all linked together with axles. There are different filters that you can use here, so I will have to take a look at what else we can do with this thing. We need hopper recipes. We've got soul sand as a filter there, and you can use wicker as a filter to get flint and sand from gravel. So you can kind of automate the crushing down of gravel that way. Now let's see what we can put into this. This actually has quite a large inventory space, but it doesn't look like you can interact with it directly. Wow, okay. Hi! Well, that was unexpected. It looks like we just let a ghast out of that. What the heck? It said something about a soul urn. I think I did it. I think I may have just done that. And it's also destroyed my filtered hopper. Well, I guess that's what we get for not powering it then. Anyway, this hellfire dust can be used for a variety of things, it seems like. You can turn 8 of it into an ingot of concentrated hellfire, or you can turn it into nether sludge, which we looked into before, makes these blocks that you can use to make either hardened sludge or nether brick. But it seems no matter what I did, powered or unpowered, one at a time or all at once, the filtered hopper would break and spawn a ghast each time I threw in 8 ground netherrack. That's inconvenient. I find that vastly inconvenient. Also, I have some raw ghast meat. Did you guys even know ghasts had meat? Do you reckon I can cook this and make myself a ghast sandwich with the bread slices? Let's maybe not go down that route just yet. I had got hold of a turntable from another quest line, but I needed to make one myself for the Better with Mods quests. Now that's the turntable quest complete, even though we already have one. Let's claim our reward from that and see what else we can do along these lines. It seems like the next thing I need to do is do what I showed you guys earlier in the episode and create some clay stuff using the turntable. So we're going to do that real fast. and there we go, folks. We earned it. There we go. Exciting. Right, let's see what this has as a reward. Oh, fantastic. We get all of this stuff. Amazing stuff. Creeper oysters were something that I meant to take a quick look at because they were used in a crafting recipe to get diamond ingots. And now these things are very useful because you need them to make any of the diamond stuff in the first place. It's an additional step for diamond armor because you can grind for diamonds so easily. And I needed them to make a diamond hammer so that we could make an auto hammer. So these creeper oysters have basically unlocked that for us. It was either that or the other recipe for a diamond ingot required you to get some drops from blazes and magma cubes. And I'm not sure if anybody else has those on the go yet, but hopefully everybody being able to claim that as part of the quest line should make it a little bit easier on everybody. And Nemsun has just come past to inform me that his work on the dome has led to some unforeseen consequences inside my house, but that's fine. I think I can probably just vein mine this stuff to get it out of the way. No harm, no foul. And let me return this to Nemsun because, let's face it, he probably needs it more than I do. Here you go, lad. Have some blocks back. Are you done now? Are you done doing weird stuff to my house?
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
I have to say, mate, this dome is looking fantastic. It looks proper like we've cordoned this area off now, haven't we? This is our land now.
I put down a machine, and the machine has just secured the area for us.
Very nice.
Massive dome. Now I'm just going to go around and tart it up a little bit, make it look a bit nicer.
I think it's probably going to throw people off that you haven't centered it on the nose cone of the shuttle, though. I feel like some people are going to gripe about that.
I started that way, though. I did. And then I realised that there was a little edge here that looked right over to the lava.
Oh, right, okay. So you did what you had to do.
On the edge, and I've been doming over the top of the lava pool.
Yes.
And that wouldn't.
Yes, so folks who get a little bit upset with stuff being off-center, it's for safety. That's what we're going to give them the excuse. It's for safety.
Health and safety. That's it. Health and safety. Exactly. And making sure your house was in it and your windmill was in it.
Yes.
If I'd centered on the nose cone, that wouldn't be in.
Yes, exactly. And the windmill is important to what I've been doing right now, which is mostly making some blocks scream over and over again.
It does seem like you're making a Gust mill.
Yes, it's weird. I've been making these filtered hopper things, and part of the quest line is that you throw ground up netherrack into it, and it gives you, I think, some sort of hellstone dust. I've got a ton of it now. Where did I leave that? Yeah, and it should give you bits and pieces here and there. It gives me hellfire dust, which is this stuff, and this stuff apparently can be used for a couple of different recipes, but every 8 dust that I throw in there, it makes a gust just above it and it breaks the hopper. So yeah, apologies for the noises. It's been a little
fine. We're in the Nether. I'm working on a glass dome up in the air above lava,
and
a gas noise every now and again goes off. I'm not scared at all.
Yes, absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about. But the best thing is, because I'm making it underneath this overhang, and I've been putting it about here where the turntable is, it keeps just spawning in the ceiling and suffocating in the netherrack. So we don't have anything to worry about realistically. But
that's fine. I'll leave that netherrack until the last little bit that I move.
Yes, yeah, and in the meantime, it's just going to give everybody a fright each time we do that. And we could probably just put a couple of blocks up there, just a couple of factory blocks or something, and then just have the ghast spawn in there each time anyway. So we can find ways to make it safe so that the glass dome remains secure. But
health and safety is a must.
It is. It didn't half gave me a fright though the first time that happened. What on earth was going on? But yeah, no, we've got some good supplies now, and I'm working on the rest of the Better Than Mods quest line. So hopefully we should have some good stuff to show for it.
Very good. Well, I've finished automatically placing the dome now, so I'm doing it all by hand.
It is
so
complete.
No more will I ruin your house.
Lovely. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks. I'll let you get on with it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is turn these creeper oysters into diamond ingots, because that just seems like the thing to do at this stage, and I'll put them somewhere around so that we can access them easily later on, because we will need this stuff for sure. What the heck just happened? Oh my days. Oh, my ears are ringing. What on earth? Well, those aren't particularly stable, are they? It doesn't seem to have damaged anything. Oh my word, okay, well, that's clearly just a bit of a shock for everybody. Okay. Now that my heartbeat has slowed down to a sensible human pace, I'm probably just going to leave the diamond ingots in here, because the best thing to do with those is going to be to make diamond hammers to put in an auto hammer, I think, and right now I don't have the skills to place an auto hammer or use any diamond tools or armor, so we're probably just going to leave it at that for the moment. I wonder if that was a side effect of having used it with the creeper oyster? And I wonder if the magma cube one is going to be slightly different when you make it. But hopefully that doesn't happen every time. I got myself a slime sling, so I can actually I can bounce around Nemsun's protective dome now with complete abandon and not have to worry too much about what on earth is going to happen to me. It's nice to know that we're no longer going to be slinging ourselves into lava, although this infernal chalice should hopefully end up protecting us from lava, and that's something that I got given off camera by, I think, System Collapse, or Ector gave me one of those. I think System Collapse gave me the lava charm, which is like the lava charm that we've used in Sky Factory before, but then the infernal chalice is apparently what protects you from lava, so that's going to be very useful to have. Now, the problem now is that there's a couple of different types of kiln, and it's not super clear in the quest book which one it wants me to make. For a start, you have this kiln brick that you can make using immersive engineering stuff, and for that you need some sandstone and some bricks. This all seems pretty achievable, and I assume it's a multi-block structure kind of like the coke oven from immersive engineering, of which we should have one around here somewhere, wherever the industrial area ended up. I think it's this guy over here. Yes, that's the coke oven. Is this? That's a blast furnace. Okay, so I kind of wonder if we can make a kiln next to these, and that will be able to fire our pots. But I'm a little bit worried about that, because it seems like the majority of stuff from Better With Mods interacts with stuff from Primal Core, and Primal Core has this Adobe brick kiln that you just need to place Adobe bricks around a furnace. The problem is, NEI does not want to tell me how to make Adobe bricks. We have this Adobe brick mix that you can make, but then once you've made that, I've no idea how to shape it. I think maybe you need a drying table of some kind, but it's a little bit cryptic, and it doesn't want to tell me exactly how to use it. So I'm thinking maybe we should just go with the immersive engineering kiln for now, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just look into how to make the Adobe brick stuff off camera. And so began the grind of putting together the bricks for an immersive engineering kiln, turning sand into sandstone, combining it with red bricks, and making myself another engineer's hammer because I gave the old one away, finally assembling a cube, which turned out to be overkill. And having spent all that time lining it up making a 3x3 structure, turns out the immersive engineering kiln is only a 2x2, and it's an alloy kiln, so I have a feeling that it's not going to actually fire this stuff. But let's give it a go anyway. Let's put some wooden slabs in there. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, does it? Oh well, at least we've got this over here, and at least we have an alloy kiln now, as if the blast furnace and stuff wasn't enough. But I'll leave it there just in case anybody in the immersive engineering track needs to use it. I guess we are committing ourselves to making one of these Adobe brick kilns. Goodness knows how, but I guess we've got to find out. And boy, was I about to find out. Okay, so the Adobe brick mix basically involves you making mud, which you can make using dirt surrounding a bucket of water, and then you need to make thatching from something, which seems to be from regular grass. Now, I assume if I just bone meal the grass and get maybe some flint shears on the go or something like that, I should be able to make that a thing. And we have the requirements now. I've got level 2 farming. We can farm some bone meal. We can bone meal some grass right here, and then let's collect a bunch of this up using vein miner. Hopefully this shouldn't take too long and we can get these bricks made. Alright, that should be enough to make the thatching. Let's turn all of that grass into thatching right there. We need to put this on a drying rack. in order to dry it out. So let's take a look at what the drying rack involves. So let's place this thing outside. Hopefully the nether should be a dry enough environment for this, and we'll just place this stuff out. I guess you can maybe place 4 of these at a time, and I don't know if it has any kind of interface. Maybe we just got to let this stuff dry out until we can visibly see it change. Finally, after a long wait, we have 1 dry thatching, which we can add to a mud clump, and we get 4 adobe brick mix. Now I'm wondering what on earth we do with these, because there's no real instructions for this. I wonder if maybe we just smelt them, or if there's some kind of mold that we have to use. Okay, it seems like there is a brick form here which you can make out of logs, and if you make a couple of spruce planks into a log, you can do it that way. Let's take a quick look at that. Okay, that was a little bit weird. You can't make them in a 2x2 inventory. You actually have to use them in a crafting table. Good to know. Now we have this brick form thing, and there are ghasts floating all around our protective dome, but thankfully we are as safe as can be. Look at that guy outside. And I'm going to place these down, and hopefully we should be able to use these to form the adobe bricks into bricks. It looks like we can. Now, can I get these out yet? I think we have to shovel them out, maybe. There doesn't seem to be any kind of instructions about how to dry them, so I'm going to try putting them in a furnace, and if that doesn't work, then we will give something else a go. Nope, does not look like they cook in a furnace. Good. But in the meantime, I will put some more bricks into the molds. So it turns out all I needed to do was leave. It's all right, buddy. I had to leave these in the molds for long enough, and then they would naturally dry out by themselves. So now we can shovel these out of the molds, and we get ourselves the individual adobe bricks, and hopefully I've got 8 of these things. I should be able to make an adobe brick kiln. Finally, and I need a furnace for this. I just need a plain old vanilla furnace, so we need to surround a netherrack furnace with nether brick to get one of those. Let's see how easy that is. I guess I could potentially forestall a lot of trouble for myself just by mining out the bottom part of this nether fortress, and I'm pretty sure I'm actually getting the nether brick blocks back, but that's worth checking because everything has been breaking down into smaller parts for me so far. We can make a single vanilla furnace out of that, and then we just got to surround it like that, and we get ourselves an adobe brick kiln. Now, this thing looks like a bit more of a complicated... You know what? I'm going to have to take that away because I'm just going to keep step assisting my way into it. Right, we're going to have to place this out here somewhere, and it looks like... Okay, it only takes up a single block. I was slightly worried that it was going to take more than that. We need to get the urns, we need to get the planters and the crucibles, and I imagine this is going to be the case where I'll need to pop that in. Wait a second. How on earth am I meant to place one of these pots inside the kiln? Do I have to put some fuel in it first? Do I have to light something underneath it first? I don't understand. Let's grab some coal real fast. This is concerning. Why is it not letting me fire this? Guys, you're not going to believe this. You're actually not going to believe this. And there's no way of me having known this in the first place, but this isn't what we want either. This isn't what we want either. The kiln, apparently, so I'm reading, and I'm having to read this on the Better Than Mods wiki because there's no information about it actually in this pack. The kiln is a multi-block structure that you have to make out of a hibachi. You have to make one of those out of concentrated hellfire, which, to be fair, I have some of the ingredients for now. We need a heating element, some redstone, and some stone. You make one of those, and then you put some bricks over the top of it, and then that's what cooks your items. And there's nothing about this in the quest book. There's nothing. It just says, once you've made the crucible in the kiln, it can be used to produce many items. Doesn't tell you anywhere in this how to make a kiln. So I'm kind of at a loss about exactly how I was supposed to figure that out. But I guess referring to the wikis seems like the obvious thing to do now. So yeah, I'm going to have to put together some bricks, and we're going to make ourselves an actual kiln from Better... And it's a Better Than Mods thing, which, to be fair, I shouldn't have been too surprised by, but so much of this stuff seems to interact with the Primal Core stuff, it felt like somehow it was the obvious thing to do, but I guess nothing in this pack is particularly obvious, so I guess we're going to have to deal with this. But of course, making enough concentrated hellfire would mean using the filtered hopper one last time, and risking summoning another ghast. I gave my fellow Cobblenauts as much warning as I could. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. I didn't expect it to do that.
Hi.
It didn't do it last time, did it?
That was a boss ghast, apparently.
Oh wow, great. Just so you know, I am recording this.
Yeah, me too. I'm so sorry. I did not expect it to do that in the slightest. So
What were you doing?
I have to get this stuff called Hellfire, and to do that, you have to throw ground up netherrack into a hopper. Every time I do that, and it gives me enough Hellfire dust, it basically summons a Gust above the hopper, and there's nothing I can do about it. So it's a good thing that netherrack is still there, because otherwise it would have just been floating around. But I have enough skills to use a bow now, so. Oh gosh, that was ridiculous. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It just
scary
when
at
you
all.
said don't panic, I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. But then I saw Gast, and it took immediate aim at me. I was like, yeah, that's not.
Yeah. Previously, it's spawned enough to completely suffocate in the netherrack, and it hasn't been able to look at anything. I think that one was like a couple of blocks over from where I've been spawning them normally. So
good stuff.
yeah. So I'm sorry about giving you guys a minor heart attack. By the way, have you crafted any diamond ingots yet?
No, I haven't.
Look forward to that. That's all I'm saying. Look forward to that.
Oh, great.
How are you doing, by the way? How's everything going?
I'm good. I'm well. I'm just doing some more immersive engineering stuff. I've got a dynamo and a windmill. Look at this.
Oh, nice. Get you. Windmills are apparently the trend right now.
Apparently.
I'm glad to be ahead of the curve on that one.
Oh yeah. Windmill buddies. That's what we are.
Excellent stuff. Right. Well, I'm going to get on and make another one of these ridiculous hoppers, and hopefully not destroy us all in the process.
Yay.
So, with a heating element, redstone, and 3 concentrated hellfire, and boy have we gone through hellfire to get it, we have ourselves a hibachi, and with that we should be able to make ourselves a kiln. Now, I don't think this needs power of any kind, but I could be incredibly wrong about that, so we will find out, I guess. I'm going to pop that down here. Okay, not at all what I expected. Turns out this thing actually needs redstone current, which is probably a first for the stuff that I've been making. Everything seems to have used its own exclusive source of power, except for this thing for once. So let's see what we can do about this. There we go. Okay, cool. So we can turn that on and off. And the fire needs to be stoked by a bellows. Let's see, we need some leather, we need 2 leather belts, we need some siding. Okay, this time, however, we have a very quick way of getting the leather, because we have a resonator now, and a resonator is one of the many different ways that you can turn rotten flesh directly into leather. So, thank goodness for whoever put this here. Turns out I can't use it yet, though. What do I need? I need 12 building. Okay, looks like I've got some work to do. Okay, kind man that he is, Ector has turned this into leather for me, because, goodness me, that was going to take a little while to turn all of that stuff into leather. But I'm pretty familiar with the process for tanning leather now, and tanned leather is what we need to make the belts, so I need to get my work tool out, whittle down some bark, cook that in a cauldron, and then finally we should be able to get on with making this. At long last, we have a bellows. Now this thing needs to be mechanically powered, which means we probably need to run another gearbox along here so that we can make the kiln somewhere about there. Finally, the end was in sight, and all it would take was some minor adjustments to how the blocks were laid out. You know what, I think this whole thing needs to actually come down 1 block, which is the most frustrating thing because I've spent ages setting this thing up, but I think this thing actually needs to be in the ground so that the bellows isn't stoking the block itself, it's stoking the fire. So let's hope that that's what happens. Let's pop that in the floor there. I think redstone power should still get to it if we do that, which is perfect. Now all we need to do is rearrange the bricks around it like so, and then probably put one on top like that, take out this middle block, and then the bellows should work. There we go. Now we're cooking with whatever on earth that is. There's blue fire. Oh, incredible. Right, this thing should... Okay, so maybe it needs to be hand cranked then, because it seems to need to keep that going like that. I'm not sure why it's not... If it's receiving continuous power, maybe it doesn't work so well. Maybe it needs to receive some other kind of power, but this thing... Yes! Yes, there we go. Amazing. We've got a crucible fired. Finally we were able to do this. Finally, I figured out what on earth the kiln was. Oh, vindication. It's real. All right. There we go. That's a crucible, and we need an iron pickaxe to break it, but luckily I can use one of those now to find out what on earth this thing is for, but I'm going to do that in the next episode, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching Forever Stranded. My name has been Pixlriffs. Leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.